Number 8, In Freezing Winter Night. I've grown to really like this movement in many ways, but especially learning it for the first time, it's a movement that's awkward for the harp and it's awkward for the choir. And even though I like it, I like it despite the fact that it's very annoying in many ways to play. But it's neat because we've had this interlude, and then we have In Freezing Winter Night, and there's this really magical moment when it switches from the minor into the major key right at the top of page 2. And it's a magical piece, but as I said, it's kind of annoying too, because we've got all these tremolos, and that's something the harp does. You can do that reasonably well, but it's not perhaps the best aspect, or it's not, doesn't always sound the best on the harp. So we start with etc. And the choir's nattering on, and they've got, it's difficult for them. They've got some unfamiliar harmonies happening in there. And of course this is all in 5, so that can get a little bit confusing as well. With these, I'm definitely going to do an episode on trills, but again, that's just keeping them as even as possible. And for some of these larger tremolos, just practicing them slow and gradually turning them up. I muffle these dotted notes, those staccato notes, and just with a replacing of 2. There are a couple fingering changes as we move on to this second page, where, for example, trying to play this, by having 4 placing there, it's really risky in terms of buzzing on that A. So just take all those bottom notes in the left hand, and there's that spot, and is it just those 2 spots? I guess it is. Oh right, obviously you can, rather than trying to grab that C again, much safer to just let the left hand play the C. It gets up, it gets loud, and moves back down. Again, this is one where it's really helpful to know the vocal part, because it's a little tricky. It's very easy somewhere in here for things to start to come unglued. So if you know how your part fits in with theirs, hopefully if they get off, if they do something strange, you can catch them. So, and then we wind our way out. This last little trill, and definitely there's a place to practice not watching what you're doing and just watching the conductor, the choir director, on that little one. Let's move on to number 9.